Johnny Fontana, Half Amazing TV, bringing to you nightclub tips, news, tutorials, and of course, disagreements. Today we got a special tutorial for you, and that's create an atmosphere with tech house, right? But the more funky soul tech house, all right? Even with my clients, I get that a lot, because what it is that for me, what I do is I provide a service for like producers that are not really versed in DJing, because once they have a vision of their music, now for them not to take another person's music and vision and apply that to create atmosphere, it's a little different. So the transition can be a little difficult. So that's why they hire me to allow them to, or to teach them, how to create atmosphere. And also when I do consulting for nightclubs, with the DJs at the nightclubs, I help them pair them with the lighting, with the sound engineer. So it's just a whole lot of things that go beyond just the technical aspect of DJing. But what happens is that when you have producers, right, they have a vision. They actually have something that when they sit down, in their mind, they're thinking, okay, I want to create this track. That's why you have different types of music. You have deep house, you have lounge, you have big room, you have after hours. You have all these descriptive forms and genres because you have different DJs from different backgrounds that create this music with their vision, right? So you have a lot of DJs that support other artists, right? Financially, they go out and they buy their music legally and so forth. But what happens is that they're forgetting to support the artist's vision. And when I mean that you support the vision, is like I said before, the artist may have a vision. Let's say he's going to Winter Music Conference. So he sits down, he's making 3-4 months in advance making some music, but he's already thinking Miami, beach, Latin America, percussion, the Lotto Hotel, pool parties. So all these things, depending on where he's playing, how many people he's playing with, who's going to be there, he's already creating an atmosphere in his mind. He's creating that vision while he's creating that piece of work. So now you as a DJ now need to be able to identify that piece of work, which comes with experience, and apply that to the atmosphere, right? And another thing is, when as a DJ, I see a lot of DJs, especially with the surge of it, of the new technology and all the content and YouTube, and everyone wants to be a DJ. A lot of newcomers are specializing too early, meaning that because their friends are into tech house or into techno or to EDM, whatever, or progressive house, they're sticking to that one genre, so that it doesn't allow them now to be able to create atmosphere in a different environment than what they're used to. So what we're doing is I have 2 tracks, okay, both remixed by a good buddy of mine out in Spain, David Caballero, right? And what we're doing here is we're gonna create atmosphere, okay? So we have 2 tech house, more on the funky soul side, okay? Because you have tech house that's basically flat, where it's a little bit more percussive, a little bit more, going. This is a little bit more, a little bit moody, groovy. It's a little bit more soulful in a sense that it's got the vocals, right? Not too much, but the vocals are like from like R&B bass, okay? So that's more soulful type of tech house, okay? Now, when I'm with my clients and I'm explaining them, okay, for example, they'll tell me, okay, I have a track. Where can I pair this music from? What would you suggest I play it? I'll tell them, okay, I think based on experience, you should play this around this time. You can play it at different points, okay? So these 2 tracks, it's creating an atmosphere, okay? It's going from one track to another track, and I already pre-mixed everything already, so just to save time, so I can actually speak to you guys while I'm doing this. But it's going to be a transition in different settings, okay? So for me, these 2 tracks, I would play them in 3 different places. That's just me. That's where I would. It's not set in stone, but to give you an example, that's where I would allocate these particular tracks from, okay? I would allocate them at a place like a Nikki Beach, okay, or like a mambo, where Nikki Beach, midday, 4 or 5 p.m. It's not too early. People are done, you know, going to the beach. They're more now in thinking about actually drinking, and they're just more partying. So you may have people that come in that are fully dressed, that are, you know, going into the actual evening time rather than, you know, swimming and so forth, right? I'd also play at a place like a mambo, which is like an outdoor event, which is more, you know, you have an indoor outdoor event as well, similar to Nikki Beach, but during the evening is when I'm playing maybe like a peak hour set where I wouldn't go too much higher than these tracks, okay, because it's a lounge, it's not too much of a big room. But I'd also play these 2 tracks in a big room environment. But when I'm opening up for an actual DJ, like a Roger Sanchez, like a housey DJ, right? Not more of like an EDM or progressive type, or really too much of a, you know, techno DJ, but more of like a housey that I know he's gonna progress. He's gonna take it from where I am and he's gonna progress. Okay, so as we're playing music, I'll give you the visuals on different sceneries and how it sort of matches with each scene, okay? All right, so let's get into this track. This track basically starts off in an environment, okay? Like I said, I can play it at Nikki Beach, I can play it at Mambo, or an opening track, or an opening set at like a big room, okay? So let's go ahead and start with this. Now the reason why I have the headphones is because, you know, I don't want to make too much noise and so forth, and it's just easier for me to listen. All right. Now you see how the groove, you know, it's like a techie. That's that Whitney Houston vocal. This is now towards the end of the first track. This is the Ruben Alvarez, if you want to pronounce it correctly. And I'm gonna get ahead and go into the I Need You by David Caballero. So understand where you are now, right? See, it's kind of groovy, it's kind of techy. It's not too much. Alright, now right here I'm actually mixing in I Need You, okay? And you'll notice that what I'm doing is the groove is gonna actually pick up just a little bit. I'm progressing. This is the point where now a DJ, like, you know, you want to communicate with the headliner, okay? You want to be able to identify where he wants to start off at, okay? So this right here, this new track coming in, it's gonna open it up a little bit more because now people are coming in, they're grooving, they're ready to start. Okay, it's key to communicate with the headliner, and the headliner you need to communicate with the opener. It may not go always as planned. You may have to stunt a little bit because the room is not packed. See what I did there? What I did is I looped it, the outgoing track, and I kept the bass a little bit so that I can keep that groove going. Because once you cut out the bass, and you get to that 16 bar area where like there's no more bass, it sort of just throws off the actual groove. So I just left the groove. And why I say that I'll keep it for like a big opening room, watch how it opens up. Because a lot of tech houses stays flat. See how it's opening up? And you can feel because of the dynamics of the track, the reverb, it's creating that real atmosphere. So, you know, you're getting going, people are about to really take off. Remember, not everyone understands that there's a headliner coming in. A lot of DJs forget that your crowd sometimes is by default. So you're setting up the room for the DJ. So you have to be able to pick it up a little bit too. See how it's opening up? This is for the crowd now.
I need your love.
understand, okay, with this right here, you can just take it any way you want, okay? You can take it a little bit higher. I wouldn't go too higher, especially if you open it up for another DJ. But remember, it's key for you guys to really communicate. The other DJ that's open, that's headlining, it may be to the point where he asks you for go for another 20 minutes. So you want to keep it like this. And remember, it's also for the crowd because it's the venue that you are also working for. So, like I said before, you may have a headliner, but nobody really knows who he is. So you have to cater to the crowd itself because especially as a resident DJ, you know your crowd, you're cultivating them, and also you're setting up for the DJ. So it's that communication that you guys need to have because he should already know, where he wants to start off based on the information that you give him prior to the event. That's why it's very important that you guys communicate prior to the event.
I need you.